Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog, so let's get to it. All right, Roxstars, we don't have a long video today, but of course we have to start with our Rona check-in. As for the It's Rox household, so far so good. We are, virus-free and continue to be as safe as we can so that we don't contribute to the problem that is amongst us. Hopefully you guys are all okay out there. And like I always say, if you're not okay right now, then hopefully you will be okay very soon in the future. That means for you and for your family, your loved ones, the people that you work around, everybody you come in contact with. Okay, hopefully that covers everybody. Anyway, you guys, while we're talking about the Rona, a few things. I guess I can give you guys an update on the stimulus package that is directly because of the coronavirus. I told you guys last week, since I'm not doing a Let's Talk About It, I don't think this week. I told you guys last week that they were going to, that the Senate and the House were going to be on break. They'll be on vacation for 31 days, I believe. And that starts on Monday, but from what I understand, they are going to stay in office until they get this stimulus package hammered out. Both sides are saying that they are very close to an agreement, and I'm sure the pressure is on because everybody wants to go on vacation, I'm sure. Okay, so they're saying that the Democrats are sticking to their guns. Of course, the Republicans are blaming the Democrats, but interestingly enough, YSAP's administration is also pretty much supporting what the Democrats want. They want this thing done, and that, I think, puts pressure on the Republicans to hurry up and make a decision as well. The things that matter, the things that most people are concerned about are the evictions, the unemployment extension of the $600, and whether or not there's going to be a $1,200, another check. For the most part, everybody agrees there will be another $1,200 check. Where the Republicans tried to say that it was going to be $200 on top of the regular unemployment benefits that everyone was getting. In the past, since they started that CARES Act, people were getting $600 on top of the regular unemployment benefits that their state gave. The Republicans wanted to drop it down to $200 because they said $600 was too much and that it did not incentivize, if that's the word I'm supposed to say, it didn't make people want to go back to work. Okay, so they felt like it was crippling the nation and that people were dependent on this $600 extra a week. So they wanted to drop it down to $200. The Democrats said absolutely not. Okay, it needs to stay at $600 until we can figure out something else. Okay, they want it to be until January. The Republicans are now tossing around a $500, which is almost the same as $600. It's almost like they just don't want to agree with the Democrats and say $600, so now they're saying maybe $500. But I think many of you guys, if you can just hold off for another week or two, they will figure that out, and there is still going to be some sort of money on top of your regular state benefits. Okay, you will be getting that. We just don't know what the amount is, but it's going to be somewhere between $500 and $600, I believe. As far as the evictions, they haven't said what they're going to do about that. That also expired at the end of July, which means that people who own property and the tenants now can be liable, and get evicted from their place. So as of the 31st of July, we could potentially have a lot of homeless people, a lot of homeless families, or soon to be homeless after the eviction process goes through, because these owners want to fill their spaces with people who are going to pay the rent. Now, if we're in the middle of a pandemic and people are losing their jobs left and right, and you put out somebody who potentially can pay you your rent in the future, now you're going to have an empty place, and what if you don't get to fill that place back in because people can't afford to move right now, you know? So I don't know if the owners are in a big rush to evict people, but I also know that the owners of these properties, if they not being covered by this eviction clause in the CARES Act, then they now have to answer to their mortgage companies, and the mortgage companies are probably now saying, okay, all right, the government hasn't done anything about that. When are you going to pay us the mortgage? You know, so it's like a trickle down, and everybody is affected. So everybody's kind of in a pinch. So it is really up to the government, who I will continue to say, who have failed everybody, and they're the reason why this pandemic is amongst us anyway. Okay, they're responsible, so that means that they should be taking care of their citizens and making sure that they're okay. So that is what's going on with the CARES Act. Like I said, we should be knowing something in the next week or two. Those three things are the main things that people were most concerned about. Okay, we can also talk about out here in Georgia, for example, the students that went back to school this past week. The district that I am in, which is South Fulton, okay, Fulton County Schools, Atlanta Public Schools are right around in this area as well. You can also add to that DeKalb County Schools, Cobb County Schools. That's all very close to the Atlanta area, okay, the city of Atlanta. They are all virtual, and their students did not report to class. However, Gwinnett County has decided that some of the schools were going to have in-person classes. Well, on the very first day after the teachers had reported to class, the second day, over 260 employees were tested positive with the coronavirus. Now, I think it's probably apparent that many of those people had the coronavirus before school even started. That's fine, but I think the bigger point that we need to realize here is that if you have 260 people that have coronavirus go into the schools to work, and then they now have children who are coming into their classes, then you will have a super spreader event, which is what people have been saying from the beginning, okay, that you are putting these children in danger of catching the virus. Yes, we all know that they say that children's immune systems are strong and all that. We got all that, right? The problem with that is these children will contract the virus and take it home and spread it. Okay, so that was the reason why people were concerned about having in-person classes to begin with. Now we have 260 employees on the second day of school who have been reported to quarantine at home, and you know, it just is making the problem worse and worse. Now Gwinnett County this week has the highest number of COVID cases reported. 195,435 cases have happened out here in Georgia, and we've had just about 4,000 deaths, 3,800 and something. Okay, in Gwinnett, the county of Gwinnett, excuse me, is reporting with the highest cases right now. So these things are all relative and they're linked. No matter how many times you tell people, I mean, you can shout it from the rafters, there are still some people who believe that, you know, you shouldn't wear masks, that it's all a hoax, that they're making it worse, you know, they're putting 20 on 10. You know, and it is so frustrating because, I mean, all you have to do is turn on the news, okay? I know people are saying that most people recover, and that is true. But, you know, I've talked about it, the long-term effects, we don't know what that has on our bodies. And then there are some people who don't recover, and there are some people who die. And why would we do that? This is something that is just unnecessary and didn't have to happen, not to this extent. That's what's going on. Also out here in Georgia, you guys heard about the camp that I think it was the YMCA, or is it the YMCA, one of those Ys. They had a camp, an overnight camp. I think it was supposed to be for 5 days, and they had 260 staffers and children together who were infected by the virus. Okay, they said that the staff actually had masks. They were required to wear masks, but the children weren't. And we know that the children are there and they're excited and they're touching each other and they're chanting and they're singing, and you know what happens at summer camp. You know, so that immediately spread the virus, and within a day or so, they had to close the camp down because everybody was sick. That also contributes to the infections and even the death rate out here in Georgia. So yeah, not the most attractive account of Georgia right now. You know, even when you think about the city of Atlanta and those surrounding counties, you know, we seem to try to do the right thing. You got to remember that Georgia still is a Republican state. It's in the Bible Belt. And when you move, I've said it plenty of times, when you go outside of the Atlanta area, honey, things is real different. People think differently, do different things. Okay. So that's what's going on here in Georgia. I've had so many people call me and ask me, you know, like, what y'all doing out there? I was like, that's not in my area. Like my kids are in college, but when the school districts in my area, my friends who have kids that are still in middle school or high school, they're all doing virtual learning. So that's what that is. Okay, that's it. That's all I had to tell y'all on the coronavirus. I feel like I've given y'all updates on on our government. I just can't do no politics today, you guys. I just can't. I know YSAP is out there cutting a fool and acting the damn fool on his interview with that interview that he did on HBO, where he just, it was like people are saying, like a Saturday Night Live skit. He just, I mean, I know that his people have got to be worried. He is just an idiot, child. I mean, if I had a penny, even a penny for all the times that I just think how stupid he is, I would be rich. I would, you guys. So, but I can't. I don't feel like that today. And we just gonna move it on along. Y'all let me know how y'all doing out there. How your mama, your daddy, your family doing, your peoples. Let's get on to the rest of the video. All right, you guys, I got some sad news. On Tuesday, there was an explosion in the capital of Lebanon. That would be Beirut. 137 people were killed and thousands were injured in this massive explosion at this warehouse. Now, evidently at 6:07 p.m., while people were, you know, ending their day, going home to their families and preparing for dinner, there was an explosion near the Beirut port in Central District. This area was considered to be very highly populated, you know, very close proximity to tourist attractions. From what I saw from the video, it looked like there was a fire there at the warehouse. People were recording the fire. It was plumes of smoke that was coming up from the building. And then all of a sudden at 6:07 p.m., the explosion was mighty. It was huge, you guys, and it mushroomed up and rocked the city. Okay, they said that the hole that the crater that the explosion made was about the size of a football field in width and very deep. So this was a huge explosion that ripped roofs off of buildings, flipped cars, and like I said, killed around 140 people and injured thousands and thousands of people. As right now, they are still trying to dig through the rubble and see if there are any survivors. But when you saw that video, if you were close to there, I don't know how you would have really, you know, at least escaped without being hurt in some kind of way. It was a big explosion. They said that it measured like as if it was on a Richter scale as a 3.3 earthquake, which is pretty strong if you were right close to the, you know, to the center of the earthquake. And they said that people as far as 150 miles away could feel the blast. So a huge blast. And now the people that live there want to know why this happened. Okay, the government there is saying that the damage is equal to 3 to 5 billion American dollars. Okay, that is what they expect the amount to cost to fix what has happened over there. But like I said, plenty buildings destroyed, and ultimately a lot of lives destroyed as well. Now, what caused the explosion? They are explaining it as confiscated and other chemical materials that they have acquired, I guess, through the ports there. This was dangerous material, dangerous chemicals that they have just stored in this warehouse and just left it there. Okay, that is the explanation that they have given us publicly. Nobody would check on it. Nobody would get rid of it. It was just sitting and sitting. I don't know how a fire got started or what made it finally detonate, but they said that that was the issue and that was why the explosion happened. They say that it was 2,750 metric tons of ammonium nitrate, which is a highly explosive material. And it's been stored there for the past 6 years. And most of that came from a Russian ship. I think they said that was on its way to Mozambique, and it came through Beirut's ports and ended up stopping there and never continuing on. And that was what was on that boat, and that is what now is sitting in the warehouse. So, yeah, a disaster out in Beirut, and understandably, the people who live there are pissed. Because it is going to take a long time and a lot of money to put that city back together again and put many of the lives who lived in that city back together again. I'm sure that they can expect many, many lawsuits because they're saying that it was unacceptable, that amount of that ammonium nitrate or whatever it was just sitting there unchecked. So Beirut is going to have a lot to have to answer to. And whatever that warehouse was, I don't even know what kind of warehouse, I don't even know, but the government is going to have to provide some answers and provide some relief to the people that are suffering there from this. So, you know, my heart goes out to the people there that are suffering and struggling and were affected by this. Prayers up for all of those people who were innocently wounded or killed. Obviously, they did not deserve this. And hopefully their people, their government there will make things right and do right by them. There are many relief groups that are there that are helping, UNICEF, Red Cross, and, you know, many other teams that are trying to help the people there. And our prayers are up for them as well. But that's all. I just wanted to update you guys on the blast in Beirut. If I do have any rock stars that are out that way, or if you have family or friends that are out that way, then my prayers are also up for you guys, okay? And let them know that we are thinking about them, and hopefully they will come through this very, very soon, okay? Prayers up for Beirut. All right, you guys, next story, man. The Neo Soul, the whole Neo Soul outfit went through it in these last couple of days, haven't they? All because of one person who has taken to her social media to share many, many stories, and that would be Jaguar Wright. Jaguar Wright is a singer, a very talented singer who was amongst the mix of all of the whole Neo Soul movement when it first came about. Was out there with the likes of your Jill Scotts and your Erykah Badu's and your Roots and the whole Philly movement. And I don't know where she's from, but you know, when you think of that whole sound and all the people that were related, Jaguar Wright was also very much involved in that. I don't really know the background of Jaguar Wright. All I know is that she never got the popularity. I knew at one time she was out there and we were hearing her name quite a bit, and then all of a sudden you didn't really hear her name as much, but you would hear it every now and then, but it still didn't blow up to the likes of Jill Scott and Erykah Badu, okay, and many of the others who have that neo soul sound. I don't know exactly what has made Jaguar Wright decide to come out now. Not sure if there was something that triggered all of this. However, Jaguar Wright is now saying that she's tired of holding this all in. She's tired of, you know, covering for all of these people. And she felt like it was time for her to reveal her truth. Okay, and who has come under the chopping block? Oh, I think part of it that brought this about was the death of one of the founding members of the Roots. His name was Malik. she was not happy with the way that they memorialized him. The Roots did, had problems with Questlove, and I think that that probably was part of the reason why she decided to speak out about the things that have happened to her with these people in the past. So she's spoken out, and she actually had a problem at the time of Malik's death with him. I don't think that they were having a good relationship, but she said that she respected him enough because he at least kept it real and said that, you know, you have to say and do what you have to say and do. Okay, so I think that that's part of the reason why she has spoken out. She's been in interviews on her social media. I don't know who the person is who is interviewing her. However, she's pretty much taken over the interview anyway and just sharing. I saw a lot of videos, but I haven't seen anything in its complete video unit. Okay, so I'm just letting you guys know the videos that I saw. One video that I saw, she was talking about Common, her relationship. I'm not saying it was an intimate relationship, but she and Common were around each other enough where they were comfortable enough where they were sleeping or being in the same quarters. She mentioned an incident when she was asleep and he was trying to get her to give him a blowjob, and he was like, come on, Jag, come on, Jag. And she was like, no, I'm tired. I've been on the stage all night, like all of that. And she said while she was asleep, she kept feeling like something hitting on her head. I was just like, please, really Common. Okay. But she said he was hitting his dick on her head or whatever. And when she opened her eyes and kind of opened her mouth as if to say, like, nigga, what are you doing? You know, he tries to push his dick in her mouth. Okay. And, you know, so of course she has now accused him of, I mean, that's along the lines of rape, right? You cannot force yourself sexually on somebody. So essentially she's accusing Common of trying to rape her. You know, she had to go off on him and tell him she wasn't going to suck his dick. She says she's a survivor of rape in the past, so she knows how to buy herself time and make sure that she's covered so that, you know, a nigga gonna have to work hard to get to her. So she talked about Common. She talked about Jill Scott having a nasty attitude and her, you know, sleeping around back in the day. She talked about Erykah Badu, who supposedly was jealous of her back in the day, stole her sound, took some of her material. I mean, the list goes on and on. She talks about the Roots and, you know, Questlove and, you know, Black Thought, and she's going on and talking about folks, okay? And definitely has, you know, she's definitely put the spotlight on that whole neo-soul movement and all of the players in there. People are saying that she has a mental problem, you know, and people are saying, because when you watch the video, she is very, very angry. It's a lot of yelling, and it is difficult for some to even believe because of the way she does it. A lot of times when you're trying to tell your truth or something that happened to you, people will choose to believe or not believe it, depending on the way that you present it to people. So her yelling and screaming has caused people to think that maybe she has a mental issue that she needs to take care of. You know, she could have a mental health issue. Okay, many of us do. I mean, a lot of people need therapy. You know, there's no problem with that. That doesn't mean that what she's saying is or isn't the truth. You know, I don't know if she's telling the truth or not, but what I can say is that it wouldn't surprise me of any of those stories, because people are human and people do things. And, you know, we have to remember that our persona that we give to the public is not always what we do behind closed doors. So I don't know if I would be so quick to say that she's lying. It's just something that we would have to look deeper into to see, you know, if what she did say indeed is true. Now, the people that she's talking about so far they have not said anything in response. She also even said some shit about Talib Kweli. They have not chosen to respond, but I am expecting Common to respond, because rape allegations are more serious than just talking about somebody being jealous of you or somebody, you know, stealing your sound or whatever that is. Rape is a whole nother beast. okay? And we know that Common is, you know, he's a crossover artist, even though he would still like to be known as, you know, a conscious rapper. He's a crossover. So now he's a business. Now he's a brand. Now his people that sponsor him are going to want him to say something. So I would expect that Common will respond to this some kind of way. But as far as everybody else, I don't know if they will. Erica and Jill are the type to not really get caught up in this kind of thing publicly, so I don't know if I expect them to say anything. They may choose to just let this all go. But yeah, I think Common will probably respond. The interesting thing about Common right now is Tiffany Haddish and him. We already had suspected that they were in a relationship. Nobody was confirming anything, but we saw that they were quarantining together and they were spending a lot of time together after he had broken up with Angela, you guys know who, Angela Rye. So they were spending more and more time together. I assumed that they were in a relationship. Now Tiffany Haddish has actually come out and spoken out about their relationship in quite a bit of detail, right? It was interesting that it would come out right at this time that Jaguar Wright is hurling all these accusations around. I'm not sure if Tiffany is a part of the damage control, you know, or what, but Tiffany goes on to say how much she loves him and that he has her back and he makes her feel good, and you know, they both don't want kids, or he already has a child that's older and she's afraid of having children, I think the way she explained it. So that works out well. You know, they've been tested, everybody is free of any disease or virus, you know, and they've been fucking. I mean, you know how Tiffany Haddish can be quite oversharing. So she's coming out and saying all these things right at the time that Jaguar is saying what she's saying. Common has been quiet on the Tiffany Haddish front as well, but he's been like that with all of the relationships that he's been in, so that's not nothing different. He's been in many relationships that he keeps pretty much quiet. So that's that. But yeah, the Jaguar Wright thing, have you guys seen the videos? Have you listened to her conversations? What exactly do you think about it? Do you believe her? Okay, do you not believe her? You guys let me know what you think.